They tried.
Yes, serenade us.
Should be getting somewhere.
Hey, what is going on, guys? Welcome to the Mobile Roar Podcast of the week of January 30th, 2015. I'm Joe Fidua.
I am Christopher Chavez.
And I am Kevin Krause.
All right, last week of January already. Can't believe it.
This freaking month flew by.
Yes, it
It
did.
really did. Yeah.
Feels like it was yesterday we were at CES, and now we're...
This is so crazy. Yeah, I think that's what it was. The CES stuff made it like go nuts.
Yeah,
we're
kicked it
already
off.
3 podcasts after CES. It's crazy.
Yeah. Time flies when you're getting old.
But we are still in the heat of the leaking season, I guess you could say.
Ooh, it's still...
Some hot leaks to keep you warm on these
Yeah, call your plumber. We got some hot leaks.
Call your doctor.
Last week we talked a lot about HTC One M9 leaks and some Galaxy S6 leaks, and more of the same this week, except the One 9, brand new images, completely different from what we saw last week. And there's kind of a funny story behind that. Chris, I'll let you talk about that.
Wait, what's the funny story?
Pulling over a fast one.
Oh, yeah. The whole trolling thing. So, HTC, I guess someone sent us some pictures at Fandroid of what they believed or what they knew was the HEMA, the HTC HEMA, which is like the code name for the HTC M9. But they sent us some pictures and stuff, and we're like, holy crap, this is crazy. This guy has the HEMA. And I'm trying to think without... Okay, yeah, so he sent us the pictures. We check them out. I mean, everything looks about right from what we saw in a previous leak. Blurry cam photos or whatever. This time we had like really clear photos. The power button was moved around and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool. And it was pretty neat that we had this kind of like exclusive on it. But as it turns out, HTC had the last laugh because apparently none of these devices that have been leaked so far are the actual HTC M9 design. These are all decoy units. So they specifically seeded all these testers and whatnot using the same body style as the old HTC One M8. So, I mean, it's just weird. It's weird because we didn't really see them go through those kind of lengths for the One M8. When the One M8 came out, it just kind of leaked and everyone saw it way ahead of time. Which sucked, but I mean that's just kind of the nature of things. But with the One M7, apparently they might have been doing the same thing back then. There was like an early exclusive leak on the One M7, which turned out to be completely false. And this is actually kind of interesting because if you go back to Fandroid and you'll see that we were one of the first people to leak the One M8 design, One M7 design before anybody did. One M7. We leaked the One M7 design before anybody did, and everyone thought it was fake because this other one was pictures of this device in the wild, and they're like, oh no, your guys' photo's fake. These guys have it in the wild. They have it like on a table and taking pictures, and it turns out that was just like a prototype testing device or whatnot. But for the One M9, HTC went, all out. They went to like Apple lengths of just packing these devices, these One M8s full of the new hardware and new specs and all that stuff, but keeping the body style kind of the same as the One M8.
It was really smart though, because I mean there were subtle changes to the body style. Like the button placement was different, the camera had a different shape, so it was like you couldn't just look at it and be positive that that's fake, because there were some subtle differences that kind of were like, well, maybe this is real.
Yeah, it would have been really odd if everything else stayed the same. If they would have had the power button on top and, the back really didn't have any changes or something, then you would be like, that would have really thrown people off. They would have just figured it was like a new version of one. I don't know, but the fact that there were these tiny little subtle changes was like it made everyone believe that, yes, this in fact has to be the next. Like, why would they go through these links just to try to cover up this phone? But which was really brilliant on their part because when everyone's looking at that, everyone assumes that this is the device. No one else is looking for, the real M9 or whatever.
Right. Well, especially this close to the launch or the announcement, you would think that they would have the finalized version out there being tested. So
yeah,
pretty convincing.
Pretty crazy. Pretty. I mean, I have to hand it to HTC. They did a pretty good job and.
They almost pulled it off, but we do what it looks like for real now.
If it wasn't for those damn kids.
I am a little disappointed that, they didn't completely get us and then just blow our minds at the event. That would have been awesome, but
yeah, I mean,
hard to do.
That was kind of looking like that was going. I'm trying to think of how much I can say on here, but it was kind of leaning towards that, and I kind of feel like the guy that leaked the pictures was feeling some pressure with all the other leaks and all the information that was coming out, that he was just like, you know what, I gotta get this picture out like stat, so he ended up leaking it. But I mean, it's just funny because the picture came, or the leaked renders came from EV Leaks, who is retired.
EvLeaks,
Evan Blast from EvLeaks. He's been retired. He retires all the time, but he's like, what? I don't know. There's Kanye West. No, that's not retires.
Brett Favre.
Brett comes out of retirement. Just every time there's like a really big leak, and he's like, oh crap, I gotta leak. Jay-Z, that's it. Yeah. But it's funny, yeah. So the One M9 looks cool. I mean, you guys saw the renders, right?
Yeah.
It looks like an iPhone, and I hate to say that, but.
Why does it look like an iPhone? Why does some people saying it looks like the iPhone? I don't understand why.
You don't think it does?
I mean, it just looks like it's just completely glass front, and then there's big bezels on top and bottom.
There's like those lines on the side though, and I don't know. That was literally the very first thing I thought when I saw it was iPhone 6.
I mean, the lines are the same lines that were from the One M8, and unless HTC got wind of what the iPhone 6 was going to look like ahead of time, which I mean they could have, but. I mean, the One M8 actually beat the iPhone 6 to market with that design. Other than that,
it looks really nice, though.
It looks nice. Yeah, it looks nice. I think they kind of got rid of like one of the defining characteristics of the One line, which is like the grill, the speaker grills. Now it's just one complete, just pane of glass for this display, and then two little
speakers in the very top and bottom.
Little slits in the very top and the very bottom. I'm guessing it's going to be a lot like the Desire Eye, which just has little slit speakers. You can't barely even see them separating the bezels and the cameras and all that stuff. But it's interesting. I'm kind of curious to see how the sound is, I guess.
I liked the speakers, but honestly, having them smaller and less bezel, I think I prefer that.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a nice, clean. I don't know. We'll see.
There is still definitely bezel, though.
Yeah. The Ultra, I mean, that's kind of like the one that was really the big kicker, I think, because, I mean, it has a fingerprint scanner. It looks a lot like a Samsung, like a Galaxy phone. I don't know if that's an actual button, like a home button you press to do stuff, or if it's just going to be primarily for the fingerprint scanning.
In case you don't know what Chris is talking about, the leaked images actually show two versions, an M9 and then... Is it called the M9 Ultra or M9 Plus?
M9 Ultra is
Okay.
what it's being called right now. I mean, it could always launch under whatever, but I think, back in the day it was the Ace, the M9 Ace Plus or something weird, but then, now it's just the Ultra.
It's a big one.
It's a big one, yeah. It's fairly large. I mean, if HTC does announce these at the same time, then they'll be getting a jump on, I guess, the next Galaxy Note 5. Technically, I guess they're still late to the game because they never released a Galaxy Note 4 competitor, so I guess this would be the answer to the Galaxy Note 4. It'll be interesting to see.
So we'll hear more, March 1st?
Yeah, March 1st, Barcelona. I guess they're going to be kicking off the whole Mobile Congress thing with their own event.
Be there. You'll be telling us all about it.
Get my grubby, sticky hands all over it.
Ooh.
Can't wait.
All right, so the other half of the leakage this week, Samsung Galaxy S6. Samsung actually had a ton going on this week that we can talk about. I don't know where we should start. What do you want, Chris?
There's a lot. There was rumors for a while that they were going to be ditching the Snapdragon 810 processor for their. I guess it's like an octa-core processor, and it's using a whole big little arm, big tiny arm configuration or whatever, because there was early reports that it was overheating, and of course, like as the story developed, LG came out. LG's been on top of this rumor game lately. They've been like coming out and commenting on everything, every rumor that comes out. But they said, oh no, there's no overheating issues. It's working fine in our LG G Flex 2. Come on down, check out this phone, and it's just kind of funny. So the rumor was that Samsung was ditching it because of the overheating thing. They're going to be using their Exynos processor, and then Qualcomm yesterday during their earnings report, they actually kind of alluded to this as well. I guess in their forecast for 2015, they said that they're going to be lowering their expectations because they're a large manufacturer, one of their large manufacturers isn't going to be using the 810.
I wonder who that could be.
Yeah, I mean, and really, there's only a few like big name Android manufacturers that are using this stuff, so it's just, yeah, I mean, it's pretty obvious. LG said, yeah, we're using it. HTC is probably going to be using it, so I mean, it's pretty easy.
They're probably talking about OnePlus.
It's got to be it.
That's funny. So that's kind of a deal. I mean, and I guess it's not that big of a deal because I mean I'm kind of curious to see how their phone will perform with an Exynos. Maybe since it's like their own in-house processor, they can tailor the software to it and all that. But I don't know. It'll be interesting. And I think Qualcomm needs some competition. It's kind of back in the day we had NVIDIA Tegra processors, we had Snapdragons, we had Samsung with their stuff, their Hummingbird processors.
Didn't Samsung used to use their Exynos processors in that Galaxy S line?
It was one version of the Galaxy S2 back in the day used it, and I think it was the Sprint version. It was back in the day when like LTE was still like kind of non-existent, and then I think the Sprint version used WiMAX, and then they used Exynos for that one or something like that. But and there's just all kinds of like I guess backstory on why people don't really like Exynos, and it has to do with I guess kind of the modding scene and all that with like releasing the drivers and all that weird stuff that Samsung never really does. They're kind of a little more closed about that stuff, so it makes it difficult for Android ROMers and stuff when they work with the Exynos processors. I don't know if that's still the case, but that's kind of what the deal was back in the day. But it'll just be cool. It'll be cool to put the heat on Qualcomm. I mean, they're in every single major Android phone, so it'll be interesting to see how the Exynos performs. I'm curious.
The other thing that's great, unbundling apps. We've been talking a lot about this, I think, the past couple weeks. TouchWiz, Samsung getting rid of some of the bloat, and there's more and more rumors are pointing to this, so it might actually be happening.
Yeah, it could be happening. So, I mean, as we know, let me kind of think of how we can start it off with. But I think it was the middle of last year or something, right around there, Samsung replaced their mobile, the guy doing mobile with some new dude. But anyways, their whole mobile business hasn't been doing very well lately. They kind of failed their own projections for the year. They thought the Galaxy S5, of course, would be a big hit. And kind of like what it is with any of these corporations and stuff, they always just predict that we're going to have a better year than we did last year. We're going to keep growing. But that really wasn't the case with Samsung's mobile business. Their mobile division just hasn't been doing so well. So that's not to say it's not bringing in money. It is, but it's just not really meeting their own expectations of growth. So that being said, it's almost like Samsung is kind of finally starting to realize that, hey, maybe we should try to do something a little bit different. Maybe we should try. Let's just try this time. So they're going, I guess rumor has it they're going back to the board as far as software goes and TouchWiz. They're going back to the board on, the Galaxy design and all that stuff. So they're going to use different materials, kind of doing what HTC did back when everyone was hating on HTC, and then they released the One M9. It's like, hey, this is the answer that all of you guys have been looking for. Samsung is kind of in that position now. So I mean, really, it's not easy out there, I guess, in the whole mobile market and stuff. I mean, the things change really quickly. Samsung could be on top one day, they could be at the bottom the next. So I mean, it's very, very vicious fight going on up there. So I guess the rumor is that they're going to unbundle a lot of the TouchWiz applications and stuff from TouchWiz. So sort of
like
be
all installable. User can control what they want to put on it.
Yeah, and I'm thinking it's going to be kind of, it'll be interesting to see how they do it. Sony kind of does a similar thing where they have a lot of stuff on the Google Play Store. They have a lot of like apps you can download within apps. So like the camera app, for example, you open up the camera app and there's all these other extra features that you can download to the camera app. These aren't in the Play Store or anything like that. These are, actually some of these are. Yeah, they're all in the Play Store. So you open the camera app and then you click on the little extra additions you want to bundle into those little features into the camera app and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see how Samsung handles it. I mean, TouchWiz itself is very just a system features, like all the like tracing your eye movements and then the motion gestures and all this other extra bloat. I don't think there's a way to unbundle that from TouchWiz. I mean, maybe they have, but those features will probably just stay in. But when it comes to like S Note and S Voice and all these other extra S applications, hopefully a lot of those will be kind of in the Play Store for downloading, or Samsung Hub. That's still a thing. Or they still have their own app store? I think so.
Something. Yeah. Samsung's got so much stuff, man. Like I've been using the Note 4 a lot recently, and the S5 and everything, and it's just like, I'll be glad the day they kill off TouchWiz. That's
you start like subliminally putting the letter S in front of everything you type.
Yeah, I wonder they can start calling it the Galaxy 6. Like they can just put it all to S6 is kind of hard to say, so you get the Galaxy 6.
Oh, I see. Yeah. That would be pretty good.
Big S. That would be kind of neat. But I mean, I don't think it's going to be. I mean, there's like reports that it's going to be Nexus-like in like it's de-bloating. I don't think it's going to be anything like that. I mean, we'll have to see what Samsung does, but I don't. Yeah, there's no way they can go from crazy, ridiculous TouchWiz on every single device and then release the X6.
It's hard to say, man.
6. I'm just going to call it the 6. The 6 with a completely near stock Android experience. I don't think that's going to be the case at all. And yeah, there's just no way that's going to happen. But I mean, obviously there's something going on, and they're thinking about things, and that's good. That's good for Samsung. I'm actually kind of hopeful about this whole Galaxy S6.
Yeah. You kind of alluded to this a little bit, but like you were saying, their sales were down again this quarter. Yesterday they had their earnings report, and smartphone sales down again despite the Note 4 launching in Q4.
Yeah.
So that is probably why they are trying to shake things up a little bit. I almost wonder, just has Samsung peaked?
Well, I mean, it was like Samsung finally had beat out Apple, and now Apple is starting to come right back at them. I mean, Samsung's starting to drop a little bit. Apple had a great year with the new iPhones. Like, that's all they've been talking about this week. Everybody, like, major news is like, Apple's killing it. Tim Cook's the greatest CEO of all time. Like, so
printing money is what they're doing.
Yeah, who's Steve Jobs? He didn't do anything. Tim Cook, man.
That's kind of crazy. Good on him. But yeah, I mean, it's funny because I mean, really, I feel like Samsung devices were always an alternative to the iPhone for people that couldn't get the iPhone back in the day. Like, I'm on T-Mobile, I can't get the iPhone. I'll just get this Galaxy S phone. And I mean, that's kind of the way it was for a very long time. And then once the iPhone came out, then Samsung was like, look at this phone, it's got all these crazy features. And the iPhone was kind of, I wouldn't say boring after a while, but I mean, the iPhone 4 and the iPhone 5 were very similar design-wise. So I think a lot of people just kind of felt like it was just, it's just another iPhone. But then here comes the iPhone 6. It's out of nowhere, new design, and big old phablet version, and everyone just dropped their Galaxy Notes and went straight back to Apple. So
I actually have seen quite a few iPhone 6s in the wild the last few weeks. I hadn't really seen any until, I don't know, just all of a sudden these last couple of weeks when I've been out, I've been noticing people using them.
Yeah, it took a while, honestly. I still go out, and I have the Galaxy S. The hell is it called? The iPhone 6 in my pocket, and I have my Android in the other pocket, and I'll go out, and then I see people, with their iPhone 4s and 5s still. They're like, oh my gosh, you have the iPhone 6, and I'm like, dude, it's been out for freaking ever. Do you like it? How is it? And I'm like, it's the iPhone 6, man. Like, and they're just like, yeah, I think I'm gonna get it soon, and like everyone's just kind of waiting to pounce on it, waiting for those upgrades and all that. So it's funny. It's funny how many people. I feel like it's still gaining momentum. It's nuts.
Well, they finally caught up with demand after Christmas. I mean, it's like that was the big season. I've been surprised by how many people have the 6 Plus because I had the 6 Plus. I'm still using it, and for a while it was like everyone was like, "Oh man, is that
You
the
are
6
using
Plus?"
the 6 Plus, Kevin?
Yeah, because long story, I couldn't get the 6 to work. I have the 6, but it won't work. But
How do you like it? Because you were the one saying you didn't want that big of a phone.
I mean, I really
Oh,
like it. I had every intention to use it for a couple weeks and then either move to the 6 or go back to the 5S. But I mean, I just really do like the phone. But I prefer the 6. I do like the size of the 6 better. But I'm just surprised by how many people are like, oh yeah, I got the 6 Plus. Everyone's got it. It's just one of those things where I even have pretty big mitts, but I can't really. It's not very good for one-handed operations. So.
No, yeah.
I'm almost dropping it all the time, trying to like reach and get something, and it slides out of your hand.
With that battery life, though.
That battery life, man. You should have seen me at CES, man. I was like, this battery life is
all we can talk about.
lasts all the time. I think I constantly have it at like 50% charge, but it never really gets above or below that. So
people I've seen with the 6 Plus have cases on it too, which just makes it look so ridiculously big. Oh my gosh. I saw someone with an iPhone 6 and they had like an OtterBox life-proof case on it or something.
No way. No way. That's weird. That's a tablet, I feel like.
Yeah. All right, so just wrap up the Samsung talk. There was a hardware leak this week, I think, right, Chris?
Yeah, I think it was earlier today. I don't know if we wrote it yet on the site, but we probably will. A couple prototype versions of what looks like the Galaxy S6. Looks very similar to the A series, those aluminum A series. It's super,
like the A5 and
super flat in the back. Yeah, it looks almost unibody-ish. Except they have their Samsung Square camera in the back, so it's the same size as all the other Galaxy phones, but it protrudes a little bit, just like the iPhone. But again, we don't know how early this prototype leak is, and if that'll be the final design. And what else is there? Galaxy S Edge. There's going to be an edged version, double curved edge. I think we talked about this last week a little bit. Of the Galaxy S6, but they're not going to call it the Galaxy S6 Edge. They're just going to call it the Galaxy Edge. Probably because it's really hard to say Galaxy S6 3 times fast.
Galaxy S6 Edge 2 Note Edge.
Galaxy S6 Galaxy S6 yeah, it's impossible. Galaxy S6. And that's kind of it with the Galaxy S6 rumors for this week.
All right, I'm sure we'll have more next week.
Oh yeah.
Hey, everybody, say hello to Kevin's son.
No, this is my nephew. My nephew, the tech baby, my godson. He's supposed to be napping right now, but he is not.
Well, that's fine. He can hang out with us.
No, he's fine, because when you put him on these voice chats, he gets really shy, so he'll be quiet.
Oh, that's a good strategy. Hopefully we're not so boring that we make him want to take that nap.
Ask him iPhone or Galaxy. Which one does he like better?
Yeah.
He loves the iPhone. He loves little iPhones.
Kids love the iPhones and iPads and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
True.
He's got the Kindle Fire Kids tab. He likes that, so.
That's cool. Oh, is that one that's like has rubber all around it so you can't break it?
Yeah, it's like but it's like the same tablet. It just has like kids like lock software on it.
Yeah.
All right. We'll start a new podcast for Kids Tech, and then he can be the host of that.
Oh.
Tech baby.
Nabby tabbies.
Techbabies.com. All right, so let's move on to some of our quicker news. Something I wanted to start off with. This is kind of a disturbing trend for Windows Phone users. Bank apps are pulling their apps.
Uh-oh.
A couple weeks we've seen Bank of America and Chase Bank both pull their Windows Phone apps and have no plan to release a new one. Bank of America even removed their Windows 8.1 app. So that's not good news because, like, when I was a Windows Phone user, bank apps was one of the hardest things to get because, I mean, there's so many different banks that people use. There's not like, I mean, there are a few big popular ones such as Chase and Bank of America, but a lot of people use smaller banks that maybe are just regional and stuff like that. So getting your app on Windows Phone is difficult already. And if these big banks are pulling their app, that's really bad.
Super bad news bears.
Yeah. It was actually hilarious. So the Chase Bank, they pulled their app first, and then the week later, Bank of America did. And the funniest thing was when you went to the Bank of America page in the Windows Phone store, the first review left by someone was this person that was saying, I left Chase Bank because they were removing their app, and now I'm happy with Bank of America. And then they're pulling their app too. I just thought it was hilarious.
Go
That
back.
guy, that poor guy.
Follow up with that guy, like. That sucks.
Yeah. So hopefully these companies change their mind with Windows 10 for phones coming out soon. Maybe they'll have something for that.
Oh yeah, very true.
Moving on, Google Wireless. More rumors of Google being an MVNO. Chris, why don't you talk about that?
Yeah, so I mean, it's been rumored for.
Oh wait, I'm going to interrupt you. Someone asked a question. Joe, do you like pizza? Yeah, I like pizza.
I feel like this is the 5th time this question's been asked during this podcast.
Is that like Rob J? Is that who?
No.
It's like a meme. It's like,
I just got that face, you know. People, oh, he must like pizza.
Pizza dude.
I'm surprised no one has
yeah,
asked if I like chocolate because I don't know if you guys are SpongeBob fans, but the little picture in my lower third right now, it's from a pretty great episode of SpongeBob.
Yeah,
When they're selling chocolate, him and Patrick are selling chocolate.
I'm not really up with my SpongeBob thing. I was it's kind of like an adult.
If you're watching this, you understand, and you like SpongeBob. You understand.
Chris was too much of an adult because he's been alive since like the era of Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Chris is so old. We were joking once that BC stands for before Chris. Anyway, Chris, talk about Google.
Google Wireless. So it's been rumored forever that Google's gonna, I guess, come out with their own little wireless network type deal. And now those rumors are kind of a little more substantiated, I guess. There's there's a bunch of reports out of like Bloomberg and Wall Street Journal and all that Google is getting close to finalizing a deal with Sprint and T-Mobile to kind of operate on their network, or use their networks for their own little wireless MVNO, MVNO. So they would basically sell you guys smartphone plans. It's very similar to Straight Talk or Simple Mobile or any of that other stuff, which uses
Cricket Mobile or Metro PCS. There's a bunch of them out there.
Yeah. I guess those are the bigger ones, Metro PCS and all that. But I mean, I feel like those are a little bit different because like T-Mobile owns Metro PCS, and then AT&T owns Cricket, so it's a little bit different. But yeah, so basically what they'll do is they'll buy this wireless spectrum, or they'll buy this internet from these big companies at wholesale, and then they'll sell it back to us for super cheap. And the rumors it's just that the Sprint is pretty much, they've already come to an agreement with Sprint. Right now they're in talks with T-Mobile, and the rumors are that you're going to be able to switch between T-Mobile or Sprint, just with based on whoever has the best signal, or whoever has the fastest internet data. It's going to be kind of weird. So at first I thought initially you'd be able to just bring your Sprint phone, pop in a Sprint SIM, and you'd be able to operate on just Sprint's network, kind of similar to the way Straight Talk works. Or bring a T-Mobile phone, pop in the Google SIM card, and you'll be on T-Mobile's towers. But now they're saying that it could be just switching. You'll be switching between all of them. You just use a little Google SIM card, and I mean, obviously this is going to have to be done. Google's going to have to do something on the software level in order to do this, because no current phones can really do that. So it's being kind of guessed that maybe the next version of Android or something will have some type of thing in the software where it allows you to switch networks just like that. But it'll be interesting to see. But yeah, it's finally going to happen. They're saying this year. This year we'll probably see Google Wireless officially launch. That's it for Google Wireless.
And that will be very interesting when it happens. That'll be cool.
Yeah.
All right, so we kind of touched on this a little bit last week, but I wanted to talk about it a little bit more today, because when we did talk about it, it was like towards the end of the show when we were doing our wins and fails and stuff. But so rumors about the Apple Watch battery life came out, and they're not good, not very good at all, and people are a little concerned about that. I think the exact rumor, I have it pulled up here. Let me see if I can see this again. The watch provides roughly 2.5 to 4 hours of active application use versus 19 hours of combined active passive use, 3 days of pure standby time, or 4 days if left in sleepy mode. So
it's either really good or really bad.
Yeah. If you leave the display on all the time, it's not going to last you long at all. Which is kind of crazy because even Android Wear devices who don't have the greatest battery life, like even the Moto 360, you can leave that display on all day in ambient mode or whatever they call it, and that's going to last more than 4 hours.
Oh, for sure, yeah. I mean, it's more like 8 hours, but that's crazy. Apple's got to do something about that. That's really, really weird. I mean, active app use, I mean, I guess that's just opening apps, moving, doing this and that. I mean, basically everything you shouldn't use a smartwatch for, that's going to kill your battery super quick. And it's just weird because that's kind of the point of Apple Watch. It's all these crazy little apps that are in there. That's weird. That's totally unacceptable. I mean, the standby time sounds really good. Really good.
Yeah, I wonder if the battery disparity between that and like an Android Wear device, because the Apple Watch seems to do a lot more, and I wonder if, like, since there's more stuff running on the watch, it just uses a lot of power. Because I mean, an Android Wear device is really just like a Bluetooth accessory almost.
Oh yeah. It'll be interesting to see like actual reports. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be somewhere in the middle, but like that's really bad. I mean, 2.5 hours, horrible, and then 4 days, awesome. So
if it's true, I'm gonna enjoy trying what Apple's gonna say to explain that on stage. It's
and up to
that sound amazing.
I mean, they'll just say up to 4 days of battery life, and that's it.
If you leave it plugged in and don't do anything with it.
Yeah, they'll put a little star, a little asterisk.
Yeah. All right, and our last bit of news before we get on to our wins and fails, Microsoft is the latest investor in CyanogenMod, which is weird.
Report. I mean, it was actually confirmed.
Yeah.
It was just a report.
Yeah, is this true? Is this at all true?
It's a report, but a lot of the big reputable sites are, reporting it, so it's very likely.
It was originally rumored. I mean, when they were talking about how the CyanogenMod, or no, they're not CyanogenMod, they're Cyanogen Inc. now.
Yeah, that's true.
How they were expecting this like $1 billion valuation or something because of all these companies that were looking to invest in them. And one of those names was Google. There was Amazon, and then the other one was Microsoft. And everyone's like, Microsoft? That's kind of weird. Like they have their own mobile phone OS and all that. But I mean, I guess maybe there was a little bit of truth because now rumors are they're going to give them like $70 million to be a minority shareholder or something in the company.
Yeah, and CyanogenMod right now is going through some weird stuff. Like
they're going through changes.
Their CEO recently said that his company is going to, quote, take Android away from Google.
Yeah, we want to take Android away from Google, which I mean I get it's a very like crazy ballsy. It's a really good headline, honestly, but I mean I get what he's saying, and that's just kind of how like Google kind of has. They're getting more and more of like I guess a strong arm over Android and how it works on these other devices. I mean, and really that's only if you want Google's services. So if you want Gmail, if you want the Google Play Store, then you kind of have to abide by Google's rules right now. And
right.
This is it's crazy because in the early days, this is what everybody was like wanting so bad. Like, oh, Google needs more control over Android, and they need to do this. And every single time people would talk about Android, they would always say this. Now Google's doing it, and people are getting pissed off about it.
Well, is it people or is it companies like CyanogenMod? Because I think it's good for users, but I can see why companies like CyanogenMod might not like it so much.
Yeah, I mean, well, like back when CyanogenMod was just a ROM developers,
Yeah.
They were kind of like all for that, and then now it's just they hate it, and they've kind of been trying to make like these alternate apps and open source apps and stuff. So I get what Cyanogen was doing, and I like what the CEO is saying about that. Just creating Android from scratch, making all the apps open source, and there shouldn't be like this crazy Google forbearing. Yeah.
Because like right now, if you go and install just absolutely pure Android without Google or anything,
Oh yeah. AOSP.
it doesn't have Chrome, it doesn't have Gmail. You just have like a weird generic email app. You have a just browser, like it's nothing. There's no app store or anything like that.
It's not that bad.
No, it's not bad. It just doesn't have any apps.
Yeah, it's just completely just barren. And then there was talk back earlier how Google isn't developing, like they're not really advancing some of the software that's on it, like Gallery. The Gallery app hasn't been updated in forever. Now they just kind of moved towards their Photos app that's like kind of tied into Google Plus. What was it? Email. I think they're not even updating email anymore. Just weird little things like that. That all their open source apps that were kind of with Android, they kind of just have fallen to the wayside, put on the back burner while they focus on just these Google apps and Google services. So, yeah, it's interesting. With Microsoft though, what they're gonna do with CyanogenMod or what they want CyanogenMod, it's just kind of weird. Kind of weird to see Microsoft.
Microsoft
makes very little sense.
Android company.
You don't think it makes any sense, Kevin?
I think it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for Microsoft to have it. I could see where like CyanogenMod might be coming from. They're operating in a position where when Android was first starting out, when it's new, rooting was like a large percentage of the user base, but as Android's gotten so big, the root community has become such a smaller percentage of people that use Android. So they definitely need to find ways to become a relevant company among all this other Android stuff. So I understand it, but Microsoft, they had Nokia, and then they did some like half-assed sort of Android stuff. I just don't get the strategy at all.
Yeah. Microsoft is a company now that's more about services. We're going to get to the app picks, and I'll have a Microsoft app for Android and iOS that isn't even available for Windows Phone yet. Like, they're all about getting their services on every platform now, not so much about having their own smartphones anymore, I feel like. So to invest in something Android related like this, it makes a little bit of sense to me, but we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, so if Kevin is able to,
I'll be right back.
Okay, I'll do my wins and fails first. So my win of the week is another app by Facebook who loves to release apps. This one's called Facebook Lite, and it's actually not for people in the U.S., but it's pretty easy to get in the U.S. if you know where to look.
Oh yeah.
Basically, what it is a stripped-down version of Facebook, basically just the web view, pretty much. And how big is the file, Chris? It's like 256.
It's 252 kilobyte download, but once it installs at like 1.1 megabytes. Just still
right. It's very small, and it sips data when you use it. It's for countries that don't have quite the data plans that we have here in the U.S. Because, as you know, the regular Facebook app is like just a beast when it comes to eating up battery life and data. So they released this light version, and I installed it because I don't care for the regular official Facebook app, and this is like a nice, lightweight, quick version that I can use when I need to check Facebook every once in a while. But they have their own Messenger app and like Groups app, so you can still get great experience in those apps without having to have the big bloated, full-on Facebook app. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's really a lot of people were saying, oh, it's just you can just go to Chrome and type in mobile.facebook, but I guess the big draw is that you get the notifications still.
Yeah, exactly. You get push notifications, which is nice. So I'm using it.
I had it. I uninstalled it though.
You can get the APK. It's really easy to get if you live in the U.S. My fail is going to be Sling TV launch. I raved about Sling TV a couple weeks ago. It was supposed to, the invites were supposed to be sent out yesterday, January 28th, or maybe it was even the 27th. It was this week. They said invites were going to be emailed out to people, but no invites have been sent out, and they've said that it got delayed, and it's just kind of a mess.
It doesn't sound good, man. This doesn't bode well.
This type of thing, it happens all the time, I feel like, with companies. And it kind of annoys me because, yeah, okay, I don't understand everything that's going on in the background, but, you know, they set this deadline themselves.
Yeah.
No one was putting a gun to their head to set a deadline or release it. They announced it at CES and said it was coming soon. Why not just leave it at that, and then when you're ready, and everyone is happy. When you set a deadline, you're not 100% absolutely sure that you can hit that deadline, and then you don't hit it, people just get annoyed. It's almost better to just be vague.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Still waiting for it, but hopefully it's a good service when it comes out, because I am ready to put $20 on it. All right, Kevin, are you ready, or you want to wait?
I can do mine. All right. So for my win of the week, I was thinking of what I was going to pick, and then this one just came to me. I don't know if you guys saw the Uber puppies that were available yesterday. The only drawback was you had to be in an office to get them, so obviously I couldn't call any Uber puppies to my house because we all work remotely, so we don't have a Fandroid office. But I thought that was cool. I mean, I know that there's a lot of questionable things about Uber that people complain about or have issues with, but I think I really like Uber, and if they're going to bring puppies around.
You literally just order puppies and someone delivers puppies?
Basically, it was in a few cities around the U.S. Baltimore was one of them, D.C., L.A., a few different other cities where if you wanted, you could request puppies. They would come in an Uber, drop some puppies off at your office. It was like a promotion for the with Animal Planet for the Puppy Bowl that they do on Super Bowl Sunday. Okay. So Uber puppies, but I saw blowing up my Twitter feed, all my friends in Baltimore who were at work saying, "Oh, I'm waiting for the Uber puppies to show up," or everyone posting screenshots.
Did it cost anything?
No, I think it was a free service. It was just a promotional thing. So, so if you wanted puppies yesterday, Uber could get them for you. My fail of the week is going to be another sort of not totally mobile related, but we hear like a lot of these Comcast customer nightmare stories, and a lot of us using mobile devices probably have Comcast internet. They're one of the biggest providers. So there was one customer that they were Ricardo Brown, and when he tried to cancel his account, they gave him a hard time. They finally said, "All right, we'll cancel it." But they changed his name in their system to Asshole Brown, and he continued to receive letters in the mail for months addressed to Asshole Brown. So.
Oh man, that's brutal.
So they actually eventually, once this became a big thing, they eventually refunded them 2 years of service, and so I guess it was a happy ending, but kind of another fail on Comcast's part. So that is my fail for the week.
All right. Chris, what do you got for us?
My win for the week is going to be the Samsung Gear VR porn video that I posted late night.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Late night Android. Very not suitable for work, but it was just funny because I didn't know that they were already making VR porn. Apparently this is kind of old. I mean, this is from I think like the middle of last year. They were already making VR porn, so...
Well, I mean, you know the joke about how the porn industry is the one that advances technology.
Yeah, whatever. If you want something to catch on, the porn industry's got to back you. They got your back. So,
the news, I think, is that it was finally optimized for Gear VR.
Oh yeah. So they got it on the Gear VR, and they strapped the Gear VR onto some of the people. I think it was Complex Magazine, some of their employees there, and they let them watch it, and then tell about their experience, and everyone's just completely tripping. I feel like the girls were more like, "This is awesome," than some of the guys were, because guys, we're traditionalists. Just give me a good old nudie mag and.
Well, the funny part of the video, though, like the first half of it, and when you're wearing the glasses,
You're
you
the-
are from the perspective of a guy.
Dude,
The
yeah.
second
That's
half,
interesting.
you are the girl. So the second half, the guys' reactions are just hilarious.
I feel
Get
bad.
that away from me!
I feel really weird talking about this when his nephew's just like running around there. It's just.
Hey,
it's
we're
just-
not using any specifics here.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it was just. I think he has his headphones on, right? Yeah, he's got his headphones. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
Yeah, he does. He does.
Okay. Yeah, it's
No, I
just.
definitely have headphones on.
It's just totally hilarious because halfway through, you're all of a sudden, oh, I'm the girl and I'm getting pounded by some dude. It's just, it's horrible. I think that was really hilarious, but funny video. Definitely got to watch it.
Yeah, everything's censored out of the video.
Hey,
It's fine to watch.
I think that's a good thing. I mean, that the company making this at least had enough forethought to not like be like, oh, this is sexist. It's only from a man's perspective.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
they
that's
have
actually really
options for
cool.
women, you know.
Yeah, they're like, oh, okay. The girls are like, all right.
All demographics.
And my fail for the week is going to be the HTC One M9 leak. So I don't know if you guys took a really close look at it, but it's really bothering me because a lot of outlets and stuff are saying, oh, they got rid of the bezel bar, the black logo HTC bezel bar that's on the One M8. When in actuality they didn't. They didn't get rid of it at all. They just they're covering it.
That too.
They're covering it with more of a colored bezel, so it fools the eye into thinking, hey, there's no more black bar. Well, right, there's no more black bar, but it's being covered by this gray bar, so it would have been there, but they're just covering it up a little bit, and it's just they can't do it. They can't get rid of the black. They can't get rid of the bezel bar, and it's just it's sad, but
It does look better though.
it looks better. I mean, it's more pleasing to the eye, but I mean, my thing is just always like when an app starts, like you still have your virtual buttons, or the nav buttons, and then your app starts after that. So you take that big old chunk, that's like a huge chin off of the bottom of these phones, and it's so frustrating, especially when you see like Sony, like their Xperia phones have very small bezels in the bottom. Motorola has very small bezels. Everyone else does, but
Yeah,
it's
like
just,
you look at this Nexus 6. I mean, look at where those virtual buttons are compared to the bottom of the phone. It's like really
dude,
low.
it's right, yeah, that's so like that's the smallest little bottom bezel area ever, and that has stereo front-facing speakers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, HTC's thing is that, oh, well, they have these audio amplifiers and they're doing this and that, and I don't buy it. I'm not buying it, and I don't think there's a need for
It's
the black.
more for their logo, really. It seems like.
Yeah, and then they could put it on top. They can put it on top and put HTC up there, and then use it where the little sensors are, the little ambient light sensor and the little front-facing camera.
I mean, who even puts their logo on the front of phones anymore? I don't even think that's necessary at all.
Yeah, it's not really a thing as much anymore, and it's weird. It's really weird, but the M9 still has it. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. So that's my fail for the week.
All right, Kevin, are you able to do your app pick?
Oh yeah. So mine is actually one that I randomly found just kind of navigating through the App Store, just looking at what was out there, and this was kind of a promoted app last week or late last week, early this week. It's a game called Lost Yeti, and I think it is out for Android and iOS. Came out last year, but I haven't really seen too much press for it. But it's pretty fun. It's kind of like a puzzle type game. You play like a little Yeti with 8-bit graphics, and you have to jump. You rearrange ice cubes to get them to walk through a maze to get to the goal. So kind of hard to explain the exact gameplay, but it's pretty fun and kind of cute and you know, that little 8-bit style. But it's called Lost Yeti, and you can get it for both platforms. I think it might be like 99 cents, and I think the reason it was promoted was it was on sale for free. So so go out and get it now if it's still on sale.
Yeah,
It looks like you can
free on Android.
play it on like miniclip.com if you want to just play it in your browser. So.
Oh, sweet. Yeah. It's fun. I've been like kind of addicted to it. It actually gets really hard very early in the game.
Cool. My app pick is going to be the aforementioned app by Microsoft, which is Outlook. They purchased a company a while back that made an email app, and now they released Outlook Preview for Android and iOS, which is basically the app that they just acquired. But now it's all set up for Outlook. The thing is, you can actually use your Gmail account too. There's a couple of sites that were reporting that this is a better Gmail app than the official Gmail app for iOS. Probably not better than the Gmail app for Android, but I've been using it today. I actually set it up to receive all my work emails, and it is a really nice app. I'm pretty impressed with it. I'm not sure it's better than the Gmail app for Android, but I've heard that the iOS Gmail app is kind of crappy, so this might be a good app to use if you need to use Gmail on an iPhone, or if you just have a Microsoft account too. So it's free, and like I said, it's not available for Windows Phone yet, just Android and iOS. It's called Outlook Preview.
The irony.
Yep. All right, Chris, what's yours?
Yeah, so my app pick is going to be Snapchat. There is a big update that came out for Android and iOS. The Android version actually didn't trail too far behind the iOS version.
Yeah, I had it like right away.
Yeah, really, really quick. They added a new Discover tab, I guess you could call it. You swipe over to the right, and they have all this, I guess, curated content from these big video type companies. I mean, there's CNN on there. They got Discovery Zone on there.
CNN, Comedy Central, ESPN, People, Food Network, National Geographic, Yahoo, Vice. Those are a couple of them.
Yeah, the Vice one's really cool. I like everything that those Vice guys do, but it's cool. It's really cool. And then you just basically tap on the thing, and it gives you like a little video that just plays, and you can watch little clips.
It's not always a video. It can be like an article. It can be anything really.
Oh, really? Yeah. The only thing I've seen, I'm seeing.
Yeah,
like a headline. Oh, and then you swipe up and you can go through the article. This is cool. Yep. This is a lot cooler than I thought it was initially. Way cool. So I think it's really cool because for one, like a lot of the videos are playing in like portrait mode, which is I'm actually thinking about writing this editorial about how all videos should run in portrait mode on smartphones, and YouTube is holding us back. But I think that's really, really cool because I mean that's how you hold your phone. It's how you watch videos. I mean you should be able to.
Man, if you write that editorial, I'm gonna do like a counterpoint editorial.
It's like not a very popular opinion, but like this is how I feel.
My thing is just use whatever the platform uses. Like if you're doing a Snapchat, then yeah, do portrait. If you're making a YouTube video,
the thing is the platform is Android though. I mean it's not necessarily the app. So on they're saying I forget the statistics, but everyone's moving away from the desktop and everyone's moving towards mobile. And on every phone, even tablets now, you're holding them in portrait mode. Videos should be able to play full screen in portrait mode. And Facebook does it, but YouTube doesn't. And they're like, I feel like they're holding everyone back because no matter what, you're like try to put it like if people film in portrait mode, yeah, that sucks. Yeah, they probably shouldn't do it, but don't give me a crappy experience with these.
All right, so you're just saying like YouTube should be able to detect if it's in portrait mode and then play it like that.
Yeah, put it in a position on your phone accordingly. I mean, it should.
So you're not saying like everyone should go out and make portrait videos?
No. I mean, portrait videos kind of suck, but I mean, that's just natural how you hold your phone. People take pictures that way. People are recording video that way, and I mean, it kind of bugs me, but I don't think that it. I think we should still try to raise awareness that you're supposed to turn your phone. It's kind of funny because on the Nexus 6 and stuff, if you try to record in portrait, it tells you it has a little spinning.
Right, the Google icon. Camera app. Yeah, that does that. Yeah.
It's like no, you're gonna have to go sideways on this one, and it's like what's going on? And turn it sideways, but yeah, it's funny. That's just my.
But yeah, the Snapchat Discover thing is pretty cool. I haven't honestly used it that much since I've had it. I haven't checked it that often, but I'm cool with it just because it gives places a better way to use Snapchat because I follow a couple accounts that are like websites, and before this came out, the only way they could promote their content was like take a picture of the article from a screen and be like, hey, go read this. Now you can actually put it in the app and people can just read it right there.
Yeah, it's definitely making Snapchat into something a lot different than what it was just initially, which was, I mean, they're evolving and they're evolving pretty quickly. And it's cool because it gives me a reason to open up Snapchat. Even if I don't have that many friends that are chatting stuff, I can still go in and just look at what Vice is doing and all these other stuff. So it's cool.
It's weird. I think I probably was on record on this podcast saying that Snapchat should stick to their basics and not just add all this stuff. But honestly, every time they add something, I find myself using it. Like, I used to just, use Snapchat to send and receive snaps, but now I find myself opening it a lot more to read stories, and not read stories, but look at people's Snapchat stories and stuff like that. I like the new features.
It's crazy because I mean they have that huge user base, which is why they had this crazy billion-dollar like everyone's trying to buy them for tons and tons of money. And I kind of get it now. I kind of get why Facebook was trying to buy them, Google was trying to buy them, because once you have that user base there, you can kind of evolve the platform. You have all those eyes looking. You can kind of do a lot more with it. So it's cool. It's cool. I think Snapchat's getting a lot better than it used to be.
You know who doesn't like Snapchat though?
Who?
Fandroid readers.
Oh really?
Yeah, they don't really care about Snapchat every time we write about it.
Yeah, I mean I think it's still kind of like a younger, hipper thing, and I kind of consider myself a young buck, but yeah, there's a lot of like older folks that are on Fandroid, and they're just like, damn kids and their damn Snapchats.
Snapchat has a bad rap as being like the sexting application.
Yeah, the sexting. I was on board with that for a while too. I'm like, oh, it's just for sexting, but then I find out people are using it for normal stuff. I'm like, what are you guys doing? Why are you guys fully clothed? Take them clothes off. But
all right, well, I think we should wrap up. We'll let Kevin continue doing his babysitting.
Chasing this baby around, yeah.
Kevin is like filming the Blair Witch Project right now.
It looks like it because it's like following him. Like
he's walking around his house with like the computer in his face.
Got little boogers coming down his nose.
I'm so afraid. All right. We'll be back next week. Until then, you can send us questions or comments with our address podcast@mobileroar.com. You can subscribe to the audio version of the podcast, which comes out on Fridays on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and pretty much everywhere else. You can follow us individually on Twitter. Chris is at GamerCore, Kevin is at You Don't Know Kev, and I am at Tall Schmo. You can also follow this podcast on Twitter, which is at MobileRoarCast, no spaces, if you want to just get updates about when the podcast is being recorded and when the audio version is available. You can do that. But until next week, we will see you guys later.
Bye.